Silence doesn't mean they forgot you. Sometimes it means they replaced you, and sometimes it means they never knew your worth to begin with. If they can go months without contacting you, my friend, that's not confusion. That's clarity disguised as distance. People don't stay silent that long by accident. They stay silent because somewhere deep down, they found comfort without you. And that's the truth most folks don't want to face. So before we dive deep, do me a favor. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me till the end, because what you're about to hear might sting a little, but it's going to set you free. Hey folks, imagine this. You planted a tree, you watered it, protected it, cared for it through every storm. But one day, someone walks by, enjoys its shade, and decides to chop it down just to plant a plastic one somewhere else. It shines brighter under the lights, sure, but it doesn't grow, it doesn't breathe, and it doesn't last. That's what happens when someone walks away from something real, thinking something fake will fill the same space. See, people love to say they just need time. It's the most common breakup myth in the book, but time isn't a medicine, it's a mirror. It doesn't heal what's broken, it simply shows who's willing to fix it. When someone can go months without reaching out, without checking on you, without even dropping a small breadcrumb to see if you're still there, that's not someone who needs more time. That's someone who's already using their time, just not on you. And I know what you're thinking. But maybe they're healing. Maybe they're reflecting. My friend, healing doesn't require disappearing from the people who cared. Reflection doesn't mean erasing the mirror, it means facing it. The truth is, most people don't heal. They distract. They replace what they lost before they've even processed it. They run from emotions like they're sprinting from fire, but the flames are inside them. It's like watching someone stand in front of a painting you both created, rip it in half, and then hang a blank canvas just to convince themselves they've moved on. But you and I both know you can paint over memories, but the color of the past always bleeds through eventually. You see, when they go silent for months, it's rarely because they're lost, it's because they're entertained. The noise of someone new, the rush of validation, the thrill of distraction, it all feels like peace, but it's just busy pain. And the silence you hear? That's not confusion, that's contentment, at least for now. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And that's what this moment is about. Not chasing what left, but mastering what stayed. You. So instead of asking, why haven't they reached out? Ask yourself, why am I still waiting for someone who doesn't? Because real power begins when your peace stops depending on their presence. Maybe they're off laughing somewhere, posting stories, pretending they've found paradise. Let them. The louder they seem online, the quieter they usually are inside. Their silence doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means they couldn't handle what enough really looked like. So, my friends, don't fear the quiet. The storm might have taken them away, but it also washed away everything that wasn't meant for you. Let that silence grow you. Let it turn your pain into proof of your strength. Because when you stop chasing noise, peace finds its way back home. Type it in the comments right now. I choose peace. And if you're ready to reclaim your power, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because this journey isn't about who left. It's about who you're becoming. Number 1, the illusion of time. Time doesn't heal all wounds, it just exposes who was never planning to come back. You ever notice how people use the word time like it's some magic eraser, like the moment they say, "I just need time," everything suddenly makes sense. It's the universal escape hatch for emotional accountability. Folks say it to keep you still while they move on. They tell you they need space so they can breathe. But they're not suffocating from love, they're suffocating from commitment. They don't want air, they want options. Imagine this, you've been standing at a train station for months. You keep checking your watch, believing that train is delayed. You think they'll come back once they've figured things out. But the truth? That train isn't late. It's gone. It already took another route. And you're still on the platform, waiting for something that's not coming back. That's what believing in the illusion of time feels like. It's like holding a ticket to a trip that's already been cancelled. And I know why it's tempting to believe. You think, they just need time to miss me, time to see my worth, time to remember what we had, because accepting the truth that they've already redirected their attention elsewhere hurts more than waiting. The mind clings to any small hope that delays heartbreak. You'd rather imagine them sitting in silence, scrolling through old pictures, thinking about you, than picture them laughing with someone new. That fantasy, my friend, is comfort disguised as torture. Here's the thing most people won't tell you. Time doesn't bring people back. Consequences do, but they can't feel the consequence of losing you if you're still standing there, waiting. They can't miss what's still available. When they say, I need time, what they're really saying is, I need space to see if I can replace you. It's harsh, I know. But it's the truth that frees you, because once you stop believing in the myth of time, you stop pausing your life for someone who's already pressing play on theirs. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone truly in love, needing months of silence to realize it? No. When something is real, people fight for it. They fix it. They show up. They communicate. They care. The ones who vanish for months aren't confused. They're comfortable. They're not figuring things out. They've already made a choice, and your patience just makes it easier for them. You might say, but maybe they're healing. Sure, that sounds noble, but healing doesn't require abandoning respect. Healing doesn't require cutting off someone who cared. Healing means taking space with honesty, not vanishing like a ghost with a Wi-Fi signal. Because let's be honest, my friend, they didn't go silent because they lost connection. They went silent because they lost interest. Seneca once said, while we wait for life, life passes. And that's exactly what happens when you wait for people who've already left. You keep delaying your own peace, waiting for someone who's no longer thinking about you. You start building your identity around their absence instead of your presence. You stop living because you're hoping they'll start missing you. But real strength, real stoicism, is in facing what hurts without illusion. And I get it. It's not easy. The mind creates false comfort because it's terrified of loss. You replay memories, analyze messages, try to decode every detail. You tell yourself they'll realize it eventually. But they won't, at least not while you're still waiting. People realize what they lost when it's gone, not when it's still orbiting them. That's why waiting is the slowest form of self-betrayal. It's like watering dead soil, hoping flowers will grow again. The truth is, they're not going to. And the sooner you stop watering what's already dry, the sooner you'll find new ground to plant something that actually blooms. So, let's break this lie once and for all. No one needs months to figure out if they care about you. If they can go that long without checking in, they've already decided what you meant to them. The longer you wait, the more you train them to believe you'll still be there when they get bored of their distractions. Don't let your loyalty become their safety net. Here's something you need to understand about time. It doesn't fix disconnection, it magnifies it. If someone truly values you, Time apart makes them restless, not relaxed. Silence becomes unbearable. But when they can go months without contact, it's because your absence doesn't feel heavy enough to matter. And that's not your fault. It's just the truth of where their heart currently is. But here's where your power begins. Time does heal something. It heals you. Not through waiting, but through walking away. When you stop giving time to people who waste it, it starts working in your favor again. Time becomes your ally when you stop using it as bait. Let them take their time, but don't let them take yours. Because every day you spend waiting for their text is a day you could have spent building yourself into someone they'd regret losing. The irony? The moment you stop waiting is the moment they start wondering. The moment you stop chasing, the silence shifts. Suddenly, they'll feel what you used to feel, emptiness, because you've stopped filling it for them. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." So stop measuring time by their actions and start measuring it by your progress. Your job isn't to count the days they're gone. It's to make every one of those days count for you. Because when you rise in their absence, you change the entire story. You go from being the one waiting to the one they're now chasing in their mind. So, my friends, don't let the illusion of time hold you hostage. You're not waiting for them. You're preparing for yourself. Every day you stay silent, every time you choose peace instead of panic, you're reminding the universe that you're no longer a placeholder in someone else's indecision. You're the main character in your own comeback. Now, take a second and show it to yourself and to the world. Type it in the comments. My silence has meaning. Because it does. It's the sound of power returning to its rightful place, you. And stay with me, because what's coming next will open your eyes even wider. We're about to talk about where their energy actually goes when they stop contacting you, and why it's not the healing story they want you to believe. Number 2, the energy redirection theory. Energy never dies. It only changes direction. And when they stop giving it to you, trust me, they're giving it to someone or something else. When they vanish for months, they don't just fade into silence, they redirect. That's what most people get wrong about distance. It's not that they stopped caring altogether, it's that they started caring elsewhere. Because attention is currency, my friend, and people spend it where they feel the highest emotional return. When they stop investing in you, they're not broke. They're spending it differently. Think about it like this. Imagine a fire that once kept both of you warm. Over time, they stopped adding wood, stopped tending to it, and then told you, "I just need time." But fires don't wait. They either burn or they die. And when the flames start fading, the warmth doesn't stay suspended in the air. It transfers. It goes toward the next thing that sparks it. That's energy redirection. That's what their silence really means. They didn't pause the connection. They just poured that same attention into a new container. Maybe it's another person. Maybe it's a new hobby that only exists to keep their mind off you. Maybe it's the thrill of pretending they're fine. But understand this. Energy doesn't disappear. It just changes hands. And I know what might be running through your head right now. But they told me they weren't ready. They said they needed space. Sure, they did. But space doesn't require silence. It requires honesty. People who truly need healing don't ghost. They communicate. They say, "I care, but I need time to process." The ones who vanish for months aren't meditating on self-growth. They're chasing distractions that validate their ego and numb their guilt. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But when people are running from themselves, they don't want quality thoughts. They want quick relief. That's why they drown in activity. They post, they party, they live their best life. But deep down, that's not freedom, it's noise. Because if they were truly healed, they wouldn't need so much proof that they're happy. Picture it like a river. When a river meets a rock, it doesn't stop flowing. It finds another path. That's what they've done. Their energy hit resistance with you, maybe accountability, maybe real intimacy. And instead of facing it, they just redirected the flow. The path of least resistance always looks easier, but it doesn't mean it leads anywhere better. Here's the harsh truth. Silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes it means their attention is just louder somewhere else. They're not in a quiet phase. They're in a busy one. They're filling every second to avoid sitting with the echo of what they lost. And this is where most people get trapped. You start wondering, are they missing me? Are they thinking of me? You replay every moment, every word, every laugh, thinking that maybe, just maybe, they're doing the same. But they're not. Not right now. Because when people redirect energy, they convince themselves they've upgraded. That's why you see that glow, that sudden burst of happiness. It's not peace, it's performance. But don't hate them for it. Don't resent it. Understand it. Because that's human nature. People run from pain until it runs faster than them. They'll build entire distractions to avoid facing the mirror. They'll replace connection with novelty, truth with attention, love with convenience. But here's what they can't replace: you. Because distraction fades, validation wears off, the new always becomes normal, and when that happens, the energy they redirected eventually collapses. Why? Because what's built on avoidance always breaks under stillness. The silence that once felt peaceful to them will soon start echoing again. And when it does, guess whose name it'll whisper? Yours. You see, this is why Stoicism teaches control over response, not result. You can't control where their energy goes, but you can control where yours stays. And right now, your job isn't to chase, compete, or decode. It's to redirect your own energy back into yourself. Because while they're using silence to run, you're using silence to rise. Think about it. If energy is always moving, what happens when you stop sending yours toward confusion? It multiplies inside you. It rebuilds your focus, your strength, your clarity. The moment you stop feeding a fire that doesn't warm you, you start igniting one that can light your own path. They may not see it yet, but they'll feel it. Because energy is felt, even when it's unseen. When you stop orbiting their world, the shift becomes undeniable. Your silence becomes louder. Your absence becomes heavier. Your peace starts haunting the places their distractions can't reach. And that's the irony. They thought they were escaping your energy, but they were only escaping their reflection in it, because what you offered wasn't noise, it was depth, and no amount of redirection can replace that. So don't fear where their energy goes. Don't chase what's already moved. Redirect your focus back to where it belongs, you. Because when you start feeding your own fire, they'll feel the cold. Type it in the comments right now. I reclaim my energy. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that your silence isn't surrender. It's redirection. Stay with me, because next we'll uncover the biggest lie they tell themselves after redirecting that energy, the one that keeps them from healing and keeps you from understanding what really happened. Number 3, the distraction trap. Distraction is not healing. It's just another form of hiding. You see, folks, when people disappear for months and say they're focusing on themselves, most of the time they're not meditating on a mountaintop or journaling about personal growth. They're just running fast from their emotions. They've swapped silence for stimulation, pain for performance, and reflection for replacement. And the funny part? They'll call it peace. They'll post quotes about self-love while they're knee-deep in escapism. But my friends, distraction isn't peace. It's panic in disguise. Imagine someone trying to heal a deep cut by covering it with glitter. From a distance, it sparkles, it looks clean, it looks moved on. But beneath that shiny layer, it's still infected, still aching, still bleeding. That's what most people do after a breakup. They cover emotional wounds with new faces, new hobbies, new noise. It's not healing, it's hiding. And deep down, they know it. They know that once the excitement fades, once the calls stop, once the thrill wears off, that silence they ran from will come knocking again, louder than before. Because no matter how many distractions they collect, nothing replaces the connection that once gave them peace. They're not escaping you, they're escaping themselves. They'll tell their friends, "I'm finally happy." They'll post their adventures, their laughs, their late-night stories, and you'll start wondering if they ever cared at all. You'll scroll and think, wow, they moved on so easily. But here's the truth. They didn't move on, they just moved around. Because moving on means facing yourself. Moving around means running in circles, hoping to outrun the guilt, the emptiness, the realization that maybe, just maybe, they lost something real. Let's break the illusion, my friend. Happy people don't need to prove they're happy. The louder someone tries to convince the world they're fine, the more you can bet they're struggling quietly when the lights go off. The laughter you see online often covers the echo of regret that hits them when they're alone. It's easy to look strong when you've got an audience. It's much harder when the audience leaves and the silence returns. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Peace isn't about what happens outside of you. It's about mastering the storm inside. And that's something distraction can never offer, because distraction gives you temporary comfort but permanent weakness. It gives you company but steals your clarity. They distract themselves because they can't sit with the truth. The truth that maybe they ruined something real. The truth that maybe they pushed away the one person who actually understood them. And when you can't face that truth, you'll do anything to drown it out. Talk louder, laugh harder, scroll faster. That's why people who move on quickly often come back later confused, emotional, and lost. Because distraction is a short-term escape from long-term lessons. Think of it like someone who breaks a bone but refuses to rest. They tape it up, go running again, and tell everyone they're fine. But inside, that bone never truly heals. It just gets weaker. That's what emotional distraction does. It numbs the pain, but guarantees it'll return stronger later. Now, I know it hurts to watch them pretend they're fine. You'll see their stories, their smiles, their new life, and you'll feel that twist in your chest. You'll wonder, how can they forget so fast? Did I mean nothing? But here's the truth that will free you. They didn't forget you. They're just trying to forget the version of themselves they became around you. You reminded them of their flaws, their fears, their vulnerability. And instead of growing through it, they chose to run from it. That's why their distractions are loud. They're drowning out what you represented: growth, honesty, depth. You were the mirror they couldn't stand to look at anymore. But here's where it turns. While they're busy escaping, you're learning how to stay. You're learning how to breathe through pain, how to face stillness, how to sit with truth until it stops scaring you. That's what makes you different. You're not distracting, you're transforming. Because real strength isn't in who hides better, it's in who heals deeper. Distraction may help them feel powerful for a moment, but silence, true silence, makes you powerful for life. The one who sits with pain learns what peace really is. The one who runs from pain keeps mistaking motion for progress. So the next time you see them smiling while you're still hurting, don't envy them. Remember, what looks calm on the surface can hide a storm underneath. Their distractions might delay their feelings, but they can't delete them. Because energy, real emotion, always comes back around. And when it does, it hits harder. You, on the other hand, are doing the work. You're not pretending, you're processing. You're not replacing, you're rebuilding. That's what Stoic strength looks like. It's quiet, it's uncomfortable, but it's honest. And honesty always wins in the long run. So let them chase noise, my friend. Let them post their fake peace. Eventually, the quiet they've been avoiding will catch up, and they'll realize that no distraction can fill the space of someone who brought them real calm. And by then, you'll have built something they can't touch. Peace that doesn't need performance. Type it in the comments right now. I choose peace over distraction. Show them, show yourself, show the world that silence isn't emptiness, it's evolution. Stay with me, because next we'll dive into the truth behind why they can look so content without you, and why that fake calm always cracks when real solitude finally arrives. Number 4. Why they feel content without you. Peace bought with distraction isn't peace, it's denial wearing perfume. It stings, doesn't it? Watching them act so calm, like you never existed, like the memories you built, the laughs you shared, the late-night talks that stretched till sunrise, all just disappeared into thin air. You scroll past their profile, you see their smile, their new beginnings, and deep down, a thought whispers, maybe they're really happy now. But my friend, here's the truth most people can't face. What looks like contentment after losing something real is usually just validation dressed as peace. You see, most people don't actually heal after they walk away. They distract, they validate, and they numb. They replace the emotional security they had with you with quick hits of dopamine, attention from others, social media likes, flirty conversations, temporary highs. They trade depth for distraction because stillness scares them. Stillness means facing truth, and truth isn't as pretty as the stories they tell themselves. It's like trying to fill a cracked glass with glitter. It sparkles for a second, looks beautiful on the outside, but no matter how much they pour into it, it keeps leaking. That's their so-called peace. It shines online, but leaks in silence. When the noise dies down and the phone stops buzzing, that fake calm fades, and the emptiness starts echoing again. They feel content because they're not alone physically, but they're still starving emotionally. Validation has become their substitute for love. Attention has become their anesthetic. And just like any drug, the more they get, the more they need, because nothing outside can truly replace what's missing inside. So when you see them looking unbothered, when they act like you never mattered, don't believe the surface. Most people who look peaceful after a breakup are just wearing a mask made of denial. They didn't find inner peace. They just found enough noise to cover the silence. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." But most folks haven't discovered their own soul. They've only learned how to run from it. And that's why you sitting in the silence, wondering where it all went wrong, are actually doing the harder, nobler work. You're not just coping, you're confronting. You're not filling your emptiness with noise, you're learning how to turn it into strength. You see, they think they feel peace because they finally got space. But real peace doesn't come from distance. It comes from discipline. It's not found in someone new. It's found in facing yourself. And that's why their calm won't last. Because peace built on avoidance will always collapse the moment reality knocks. It's like walking through a haunted house with the lights on. You can pretend it's not scary as long as you can't see what's around you. But eventually the lights go off. The music stops, and they'll have to face what's been chasing them all along. The truth that what they had with you wasn't something you just replace. It was something they'll have to live without. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If they're pretending, why do I still feel like I'm losing? Because you're living in reality while they're living in illusion. The person doing the real work always feels the pain first. You feel the loss deeply because you're processing it truthfully. They feel fine because they're suppressing it temporarily. But life always exposes imbalance. The one who avoids pain now suffers later. The one who faces pain now becomes unstoppable later. So don't envy their calm. Study it. See it for what it is. A performance to convince themselves that walking away was the right choice. That's why they'll overpost, overshare, oversmile. Because when someone truly finds peace, they don't need to announce it. Stillness doesn't need an audience, but insecurity does. And let's not forget, peace that comes from validation depends on constant maintenance. They'll need someone to keep complimenting them, someone to keep texting them, someone to keep proving they're still desirable. But when that attention slows down, the mask falls off, and all that contentment melts into loneliness. Meanwhile, you're evolving. You're learning how to sit with yourself, how to rebuild your energy, how to turn heartbreak into focus. And that kind of strength can't be faked. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. It's the stillness that doesn't need distraction. That's the kind of peace they can't imitate. Remember this, a calm surface doesn't mean a calm soul. Oceans look still until you dive beneath them. And when you do, you realize the waves are wild beneath the quiet. That's their peace. Pretty on the surface, chaotic underneath. Yours, though, it's forming from the inside out. It's the kind that doesn't crumble when the lights go out. So the next time you see them smiling, let it remind you, not of what you lost, but of what you're gaining. Emotional depth, maturity, and self-control. Because the truth is, their peace is borrowed. Yours is being built. One day, when the distractions stop working, when the validation runs out, when the silence becomes too loud, they'll start to wonder about you, not because you chased, not because you begged, but because your silence became the mirror to their chaos. They'll realize that the calm they faked was nothing compared to the calm you earned. So hold your ground, my friend. Don't let their fake serenity fool you into breaking your own. Their peace is temporary. Yours is transformation. Type it in the comments right now. My peace is real. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that while they chase validation, you're mastering stillness. Stay with me, because next we're going to talk about the 3-month mark, the exact moment when their fake peace begins to crack and the truth finally starts to whisper your name again. Number 5, the 3-month rule of realization. You can fake peace for a while, but you can't fake silence forever. It always finds you, and when it does, it asks questions you've been avoiding. Somewhere around that 3-month mark, the illusion starts to flicker. At first, they think they've escaped. They feel weightless, free, alive again. The world is bright, everything feels new, and they swear to themselves that walking away was the best decision they ever made. But here's what they don't realize, my friend. Those first few months are a chemical high. It's the honeymoon phase of distraction. It's dopamine wearing a disguise called freedom. And like every high, it fades. You see, in the first few weeks after they pull away, they're not reflecting, they're escaping. They're too busy convincing themselves that they're fine. They fill the silence with movement, the emptiness with validation, and the guilt with excuses. But time, that same time they told you they needed, starts to do what it always does. It reveals, not heals. Imagine a snow globe. Shake it hard, and the glitter spins everywhere, sparkling and chaotic. It looks alive, full of motion. But eventually, the glitter settles. The chaos clears. And then they're left staring through the glass at exactly what they didn't want to see, the truth. That's what happens around that third month. The noise slows, the distractions dry up, the newness wears off. And suddenly, the silence they thought they escaped becomes deafening. This is when curiosity creeps in. It's subtle at first. They check your page. They scroll your old photos. Maybe they don't like anything. Maybe they just hover. But they're wondering, what are you doing? Are you okay? Do you still think about me? That's how it starts. Breadcrumbs, story views, accidental likes. The small signals of someone who once felt certain but is now starting to feel the loss. But here's where most people ruin it. They reach out first. They sense that flicker of attention and they chase it. They think, this is my chance. They're thinking about me, and boom, the power flips again. You validate their curiosity before it turns into consequence. Because what they need in that moment isn't your message, it's your silence. They need to feel the weight of your absence before they can understand the value of your presence. This is the hardest part, my friends, the waiting, the uncertainty, the mental tug-of-war between wanting closure and wanting connection. You'll start to think, if I just send something small, it'll remind them. But no. Reminders are for people who forgot something meaningful. They didn't forget, they avoided, and avoidance only breaks when silence forces it to. You have to understand that 3-month window is the turning point in every detachment cycle. It's when the fake peace starts to fracture. It's when their distractions lose their thrill. It's when they start comparing you to the new people they meet, and every comparison falls short. Because the truth is, you were real, and real doesn't fade. It lingers. It echoes in moments they don't expect. The smell of your cologne on someone else, a song in the car, a phrase you used to say. That's when missing you stops being a thought and starts being a feeling. But only if you don't interfere, because the moment you reappear too early, you relieve their discomfort. You turn their reflection back into reassurance. They think, see? They're still there. I didn't lose anything. And just like that, they slip right back into denial. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That applies here. When the urge hits to reach out, remind yourself what you feel isn't truth. It's temptation. It's your ego craving closure in a story that silence is already finishing for you. You've got to let time do what attachment can't. Let their imagination do the work, because trust me, their mind will start asking the questions their mouth is too proud to form. Why haven't they reached out? Are they seeing someone? Do they even care anymore? That curiosity is your quiet revenge. That's when your silence transforms from absence into mystery, and mystery is magnetic. Now, here's where the real Stoic strength comes in, holding the line, staying detached when your heart wants to chase. knowing that your worth doesn't need to be proven through reaction. The man who can master silence during the storm owns the calm when it's over. Because eventually they will test the waters again. They always do. A message, a comment, something casual like, "Hey, how have you been?" But it's not love. They're testing availability. They're checking if the door's still open. And that's your moment, my friend. Not to react, not to explain, just to exist in peace, so solid it makes them question why they ever left. Because that's what true detachment looks like. Not indifference, but power. The quiet kind that doesn't need to announce itself. The truth is, the 3-month mark isn't when they move on. It's when they wake up. But by then, you should be so far into your own growth, so deep into your new peace that their return doesn't shake you. It just reminds you how much stronger you've become. Because while they were busy performing happiness, you were building it. While they were chasing attention, you were mastering stillness. And while they were escaping silence, you were learning how to live in it. So when that message finally comes, and it will, you won't be the same person who once waited for it. You'll be the one who understands that silence was never punishment. It was preparation. Type it in the comments right now. My silence is my power. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that you don't chase uncertainty. You embody peace. And stay with me, because next we'll go even deeper into what happens when you stop orbiting their world completely, and how your absence becomes the one thing they can't ignore. Number 6. When you stop orbiting. The moment you stop chasing their world, gravity flips. Suddenly, they're the ones who start circling yours. There comes a point where you've looked at their profile one too many times. You've reread that last conversation enough to memorize the silence between the lines. And something inside you finally snaps, not in anger, but in awakening. You stop checking. You stop waiting. You stop orbiting around someone who stopped looking up to see you. And in that instant, my friend, everything changes. See, as long as you keep orbiting them, watching, hoping, reacting, you're still feeding their sense of power. They feel your energy even in your silence. They might not be texting you, but they can sense that you're still there, still lingering, still available if they ever decide to come back. That invisible tether of attention keeps them comfortable. It tells them, you can wander as far as you want. They'll still be waiting. And that comfort, it kills curiosity. But when you cut that energy off, when you truly vanish, not out of spite but out of strength, they feel it. Something in their world suddenly feels off. The attention that once kept their ego warm is gone, and the silence that once gave them peace now feels cold. They won't admit it, but they'll start checking for you. They'll look for your name in their story views, your like on their posts, your shadow in their notifications. And when they don't see it, a question starts to burn inside them. Did I lose them for good? That's when your silence becomes loud. Because for the first time, the roles reverse. They're the ones overthinking. They're the ones feeling the weight of absence. You've stopped orbiting and now they're spinning. Think of your energy like the sun. When it shines on them, everything feels warm, alive, validated. But when that light pulls away, they realize just how cold their distractions really were. The same silence they once used to control you becomes the silence that now exposes them. Because silence doesn't belong to the one who runs. It belongs to the one who masters it. Now, here's the truth that most people don't realize. The moment you stop orbiting isn't when you lose them. It's when they finally see you. Because your attention was like oxygen. It fueled their ego, their confidence, their illusion of control. But the second you cut that off, they start gasping. That's the moment they start to feel what you've been feeling for months: emptiness. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And that's exactly what happens when you stop orbiting. You stop analyzing, stop guessing, stop wondering what they're doing or thinking, and you start being. You start living your own life again, focusing on your body, your goals, your peace. You become the good man by doing, not dwelling. And I know at first it feels strange. You'll feel that pull, the urge to check, to peek, to see if maybe they noticed your silence. That's your old habit trying to survive in your new reality. But here's where your power lies: in resisting that urge. Because every time you stop yourself from looking, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Every time you choose not to react, your self-respect grows a little louder. It's like going through a detox. At first, you crave what once comforted you, but then something incredible happens. You realize you don't need it anymore. The silence that once felt unbearable starts to feel peaceful. The absence that once scared you starts to feel liberating. You no longer orbit around them because you've finally built your own center of gravity. And the irony: the moment your energy stops revolving around them, they start to feel it like a shift in the air. They'll sense it before they can explain it. That's when you'll start to see those little signs. The story views returning, the sudden follow, the accidental message. It's not coincidence, it's consequence. They're feeling the loss of what they took for granted. But this time, don't react. Don't go running back to what once broke your peace, because the second you react, you teach them that your silence was just strategy, not strength. You show them it was a performance, not a transformation. But if you stay calm, steady, silent, your stillness becomes their storm. It's like a mirror. The more peaceful you become, the more chaos they feel within themselves. They start realizing that your detachment isn't anger, it's growth. And that scares them because it means they no longer have control over how you feel. You've become unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds fascination. So, my friend, stop orbiting, stop checking, stop chasing ghosts in the digital wind, because the moment you pull back, your silence becomes the loudest reminder of your worth. And here's the beauty of it: you don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't have to post, you don't have to flex, you don't have to pretend. The energy that once fueled them now fuels you. Every second you stay quiet, your value rises. Every day you stay focused on your growth, their illusion of control cracks a little more. You become the mystery they can't stop thinking about, the calm they can't find anywhere else, the silence that speaks louder than any text ever could. And that's the moment they'll start orbiting you again, not because they want to, but because they have to, because energy always returns to its source. Type it in the comments right now. I am my own center. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that when you stop orbiting chaos, you become gravity itself. Stay with me, because next we'll uncover what happens when the avoidant finally returns, and why your silence will make them face every emotion they once ran from. Number 7. The return of the avoidant. They always come back, not because you were their option, but because your peace became the mirror they can't escape. It's almost predictable, isn't it? That quiet, random message out of nowhere, that, "Hey, how've you been?" after months of silence, that follow request, that innocent reaction to your story. They'll act like it's casual, like it doesn't mean anything, but behind that small gesture is a storm they can't hide anymore. See, the avoidant always returns. not because they suddenly discovered your worth, but because they can't escape their own reflection anymore. When they left, they were sure they'd find peace in distance. They thought running would make them lighter. But months later, that illusion starts to collapse. Because when you stop orbiting, when your silence grows roots, it changes the game. Their distractions run out of fuel. The new faces lose their magic. The thrill turns into emptiness. And now, the same quiet they once used as escape becomes the thing that haunts them. At first, they tell themselves it's curiosity. They convince their friends, "I'm just checking in." But deep down, it's not curiosity. It's longing dressed as nonchalance. They want to know if you still care, if you still check their stories, if you still exist in the same emotional space they abandoned. They're not reaching out because they're ready. They're reaching out because your absence finally feels real. Imagine a child who lets go of their favorite toy, certain they can find another one just like it. They play for a while, they forget, until one day they realize every new toy breaks faster, feels cheaper, and nothing ever fits their hand the same way. That's what's happening now. They're reaching for you, not because they've changed, but because your presence was the only thing that ever felt real. But here's the truth that separates the healed from the hurt. You don't chase what returns. You observe. You stay calm. You remember the storm you survived just to find this silence. Because if you react too soon, you reset the cycle. You hand them the same comfort they lost. And the moment you do, they retreat again. That's the paradox of the avoidant. They only miss you when they can't have you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." And in this context, that means you don't mirror their inconsistency. You embody stability. While they come back out of confusion, you stay still out of clarity. Because they need to feel the contrast. They need to see that while they were running from peace, you became it. Now, let's talk about what really happens inside them. When the avoidant returns, it's rarely from courage, it's from collapse. Their distractions failed, their ego cracked, the thrill they chased wore off, and now they're left alone with their thoughts, realizing that what they left behind wasn't chaos, it was safety. But here's the thing, my friend. You can't rebuild with someone who still fears the walls. You can't offer calm to a person addicted to storms. They might come back saying things like, "I've been thinking about you. I miss what we had. I'm not sure why I disappeared." And for a moment, your heart might skip. You'll feel that spark, that old connection flicker. But breathe. Because that moment isn't a test of their love, it's a test of your growth. It's the universe asking, have you learned the value of your silence? You see, the avoidant returns when you no longer need them, when your life starts to bloom again, when your peace becomes visible, when your glow no longer includes their shadow. That's when they feel the loss. Because they finally understand that you weren't waiting. You weren't bitter, you were becoming, and that realization is powerful. It humbles them because people expect anger, they expect closure arguments, blocked numbers, drama. But when you give them silence instead, it leaves them disarmed. They can't fight peace. They can't argue with calm. They can't manipulate detachment. And that's why your silence hits harder than any speech ever could. This is where your power crystallizes, not in what you say, but in what you withhold. Your stillness becomes sacred. It teaches them that you were never seeking revenge. You were just protecting your peace. It shows them that walking away didn't break you. It built you. And that lesson will echo in their mind far longer than your words ever could. So when they circle back, when they're just checking in, messages start coming, remember their return isn't your cue to fall. It's your sign that you've risen, because when the avoidant returns, they don't come for love. They come for energy. And if you're not careful, they'll drain what took you months to rebuild. Guard your peace like a temple. Don't let nostalgia turn into your downfall. Understand this, they're coming back to the version of you that no longer exists. The person they left behind was searching, hurting, hoping, but the person standing here today, he's learned, he's quiet, focused, unshaken. That's who they'll meet now, and they'll feel that difference in every word you don't say. So when that moment comes, and it will, look at it for what it is, not a reunion, but a reminder. A reminder of how far you've come, of how much you've grown, and how peace isn't found in who stays or leaves. It's found in who you've become in the silence between. Type it in the comments right now. I am the peace they lost. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that your silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And if this message hit you today, if you felt that shift deep inside your chest, do me one favor. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because healing spreads when truth is spoken. Stay grounded, stay focused, and remember, your peace doesn't chase what already knows where to find you.